Hi there guys, welcome back to the Bitesize Guitar channel. I'm Reese and today we're going to be taking a look at Stuck With You by Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber. You'll need a capo on the first fret to play along with the original song, although if you're quite happy playing along in a slightly lower key, feel free to follow along and just use the chords in their normal open positions. Okay, so let's take a look. Right, so with our capo at the first fret, let's take a look at the chord shapes we're going to be using in order to play the entire song. So we're going to need a G major chord, a B minor 7, a C major, an E minor, a D major, and then in our very last verse we're going to be taking our C chord and playing C major followed by a C minor. So that C minor we're going to play as a bar chord, third fret up from the capo. So even though that's really going to sound a C sharp, we're going to think of that as a C minor bar chord. Okay, so let me just take you through how to play all of those chords in case any of them are unfamiliar to you. So for our G major, you're going to be playing third fret up from the capo with your second finger on the bottom E string. First finger plays the second fret on the A. We're going to leave our D and G strings open, and then the third finger and the fourth finger are going to play the third frets on the B and the high E. For our B minor 7 chord then, we're going to be barring at the second fret up from the capo all the way down to the A string, so omitting the E string, first finger on the second fret and then collapsing to bar across the remaining 5 strings. At the D string then, third finger is going to be playing fourth fret up. We're going to miss out our G, which will then sound at the second fret in our bar, and with our second finger we're going to play the third fret up on the B string. Don't worry too much about the high E. If you are kind of comfortable playing bar chords and you're able to apply pressure along the entire length of your first finger so that we get that second fret on the high E, that's absolutely fine. But equally, if bar chords are a little bit new to you and you actually find there's a bit too much pressure in your hand, focus mainly on getting this root note at the tip of your first finger, and hopefully over time that will tighten up. But if we get muting on that top string, that's absolutely fine. The only thing we want to avoid really is leaving that open E ringing out. So either second fret or just muted is ideal. So that's our B minor 7. For our C shape then, we're going to again omit the bottom E. Third finger plays the third fret on the A. Second finger, second fret on the D. Open G. First finger, first fret on the B, and the high E is open. For our E minor chord, we are going to be playing the open bottom E, second finger on the second fret of the A, third finger on the second fret of the D, and then our remaining G, B, and high E strings are open. And then D major. Here we're not going to be playing the bottom E or the A string, so we start off with open D. First finger on the second fret of the G, third finger on the third fret of the B, second finger, second fret on the high E. And as I said, when we come to that one iteration of a C minor chord, I want you to take our bar, just as we did at the second fret, and this time we're going to be barring at the third fret, and we're going to be playing what is ostensibly an A minor shape, transposed up 3 frets. So that's going to be barring all the way to the A string, third fret, not playing our bottom E at all once again. Then third finger is going to play on the D string, the 5th fret up from the capo. Likewise, the fourth finger is going to play 5th fret up on the G, and our second finger is going to play the 4th fret on the B. Again, just as I mentioned before with the B minor 7, don't worry too much about the high E underneath this bar. We're either looking for a clean note at the 3rd fret or no note at all, so either missing that string out or muting with the underside of our first finger. So that should sound like this, C minor. Okay, so now let's take a look at how all of those chords fit together in our chord progression. So the vast majority of this song uses the same chord progression. That's in our intro, verses and chorus. And that chord progression is 2 bars of G, 2 bars of B minor 7, 2 bars of C, and then a single bar each of E minor to D major. Now, it's worth mentioning that this song is in 6/8, so each one of those bars is going to be counted like so. So G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, B minor 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to largely remain the same for our intro, pretty much all of our verses and every chorus. There's one slight deviation away from that in our final verse, which I'll take you through in just a second. Okay, so let's take a look at the bridge section of the song. Now this is a little bit simpler. We're going to simply have 2 bars of C major, 2 bars of G major, back to 2 bars of C major, and then a final 2 bars of D major. And our feel here is exactly the same as in our intros, verses and choruses. The whole song is in 6/8. So here again we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At which point we then come back in for our final verse. Now, as I mentioned before, in our final verse we get one small deviation away from our standard chord progression. So where does that deviation happen? Basically we're going to keep everything pretty much the same. 2 bars of G major, 2 bars of B minor 7, 2 bars of C major, and then in our final 2 bars, instead of going to E minor and then D, we're simply going to move up to this bar chord I showed you at the start for a C minor and play the final 2 bars of our chord progression on a C minor. We then revert back to the standard chord progression until the end of the song. So let me just take you through that chord progression one more time. Again, we're still in that 6/8 feel. So we start on a G and we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back into our standard chord progression. So that's the structure of the song pretty much outlined. Now let's take a look at how we might deliver that rhythmically. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, the entire song is in the time signature of 6/8. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't know if you can hear there, but our dominant beats within a time signature of 6/8 are 1 and 4. We kind of get this swung feel. It's a waltz essentially. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're looking for a pretty simple and easy to reproduce strumming pattern that you could use throughout the entire song, we could simply try and accent those 2 beats. So for example, in our verse, or chorus, because we have the same chord progression in both of those sections, say I'm starting on a G, what I might try and do to create a little bit of a swung feel is to accent the bottom of the chord on beat 1, and then continue through with the entire chord, or accent the top of the chord on beat 4, like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So both of those are down strums. They're both down beats, dominant beats, but I'm going to just try and hit the bottom of the chord on beat 1 and then continue through to accent the top of the chord on beat 4. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you could use that throughout this entire chord progression. When we get to our bridge, we might do something a little bit different, but for now, let me take you through an entire verse using that basic strumming pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm down to stick around. One strike and you're out, baby. Don't care if I sound crazy, but you never let me down. That's why when the sun's up, I'm staying, still laying in your bed saying, etc. Whether we're playing our verse or our chorus, that feel will work for both. So again, on our chorus, that should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So lock the door and throw out the key. Can't fight this no more. It's just you and me, and there's nothing I can do. I'm stuck with you, stuck with you, stuck with you. Now that's just a basic strumming pattern that will work on all the various sections of the song. Of course we can complicate that a little bit, and I'll take you through some alternatives in just a moment. But first let's take a look at our bridge and kind of a simplified strumming pattern that we're going to play on that no matter how we choose to play the rest of the song. So in our bridge we're going to do something slightly different, and all we're going to be doing is accenting the first 4 beats of every bar. So we're going to be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we play that throughout until we get to our final 2 bars of D, at which point we're just going to try and play everything in groups of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, finishing with that final down strum and stop on beat 4 of the 2nd bar of D. So if I play all of that bridge in context, you should be able to see what I mean a little bit more clearly. Should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa, baby, come take all my time. Go on, make me lose my mind. We got all we need here tonight. At which point we then drop back down into our final chorus, where, as I mentioned before, we get that slight deviation in the chord progression. However, our rhythm is going to remain exactly the same as how we've played every other chorus. So it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can lock the door and throw out the key. Can't fight this no more. It's just you and me, and there's nothing I'd rather do. I'm stuck with you, stuck with you, stuck with you. At which point we continue along just as before till the end of the song, playing that exact same chord progression that we've always played on our chorus. Okay, so if you feel fairly comfortable with everything we've covered so far, let's take a look at ways we could slightly complicate that chord progression and the way we deliver it in the right hand, so that you can make the song sound a little bit more dynamic and a bit more true to the original recording. Okay, so as I said, let's take a look at a slightly more dynamic way that we can deliver that chord progression with a slightly more complicated moving bass part that links all of those chords together. So it should sound something like this. So let's look in more detail at what it is I'm actually playing there. Now you're going to start off using that same rhythmic structure that we looked at before as sort of a scaffold for this bass part. So we're still always accenting beat 1 and beat 4 of each chord that we land on. So when I play that first bar of G, I'm simply playing exactly as I played before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm also going to double up on that second bass note, so it should sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm coming in on the final beat of that bar of G before I go into the second bar of G on beat 6. So again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with beat 6 of the first bar and beat 1 of the second bar sitting right next to each other, we get this impression of a double bass note. That's again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to again use that in pretty much every movement between my chords. Now sometimes I'm going to give you a slightly more complicated bass part that'll actually walk you from one chord to the other. But when we're on a chord for 2 bars, so we're not actually moving to another chord, we're simply going to introduce that double bass kind of fill, if you like, between those 2 bars. So likewise, once we've landed on our B minor 7, and I'll show you how we get here from our G in just a moment, but for the 2 bars of B minor 7, we're going to do exactly the same thing, where we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, that's beat 1. I'm then playing the rest of the chord on beat 4, and then I'm catching that bass note again on 6, and then 1 of the next bar, at which point I just repeat myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And if you want to, you could simply play through the entire progression just using that to make it slightly more complicated. Maybe get comfortable with that first before moving on to this next approach that I'm about to show you. So maybe if I play through that whole progression for you using that double bass note motif, it should sound like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Okay, so now let's take a look at taking that one step further and actually linking some of our chords by creating a little bass run that takes you from one harmonic center to the next. So for example, from our G to our B minor 7, we've already got that first 2 bars of G linked together by that double bass note on the bottom E string on the G note. But when we want to move up to the B minor 7, we want to walk from the bass note of one chord up to the bass note of the next chord. So I'm going to show you how that sounds first. It should sound something like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So I'm walking up from the 3rd fret on the E to that open A, and then I'm going to land on the 2nd fret of the A, which is my root note of my B minor 7. So let's just take a little bit of a look where that falls rhythmically. Just as before, we're going to be playing beat 6, but we're also going to come back to beat 5 and include a note there because we've now got twice as many notes to fit in. So again, we've got G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So then I land at my next position on that B minor root note on beat 1 of the next bar, at which point I then need to prepare the rest of my chord ready for beat 4, where I'm going to hit the rest of the chord. So again, that entire progression, let's play both bars. So final bar of G, first bar of B minor 7, it should sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense so far. Let's take a look now how we move up from our B minor 7 to our C chord. This one's a little bit more straightforward. All we're going to be doing is continuing that double bass motif, but instead of playing the same note twice as we do when we stay on the same chord, so from one bar of B minor 7 to the second bar of B minor 7, all we're going to do is play the last beat of that second bar of B minor 7, so beat 6 on the 2nd fret, and then step up to the 3rd fret on the A string, which is now our C-shaped root note. So we're stepping up from the 2nd to the 3rd, from the B minor 7 to the C. And again, that's in exactly the same place as if we were staying on the same chord. So beat 6 is going to be the 2nd fret, beat 1 is going to be the 3rd fret. So if I play you the final bar of B minor 7, stepping up into the first bar of C, it should sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from our C then to our E minor, we're going to revert back to playing 3 notes now. So we're playing the root note of our C shape, and we're going to land eventually on the 2nd fret of the D, which is going to be the root note essentially of our E minor chord, although we are actually going to introduce the note on the string below it as well as the bottom E string. So that's not the lowest note in our chord, but it's still our root note. So moving up from our C to our E minor, we need to start again on the 5th beat of the bar, because we need to fit in 2 notes before we land on our 3rd note, which is going to be beat 1 of our E minor. So if I play through that change for you, it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's look at that in a bit more detail again. So I'm still playing the C, same as I ever was. 1, 1 and 4. However, when we get to beat 5, I'm going to play the 3rd fret, so our root note, 3rd fret on the A string, and then very similarly to when we stepped up from the G to the B, I'm going to play 3rd fret on beat 5, move up to the open D for beat 6, which then means I land on the 2nd fret of the D string for beat 1 of our next bar, which is the first and only bar of E minor. So again, that should be kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now then let's look at how we go from our E minor to our D. Again, this is going to come back to how we moved from our B to our C. So we're sort of rotating between a 3-note pattern and a 2-note pattern. So when we went from G to B minor, we had 3 notes, 3rd fret on the E, open A, 2nd fret on the B. Then our B to our C, we simply played the B root note at the end of that final bar of B and then stepped up to the C root note, so only 2 notes there, B to C. Our C to our E minor, we're reverting back to 3 notes. Again, that's 3rd fret on our A, open on our D, 2nd fret on our D to get to the E minor. And then as I said, we revert back here from the 2nd fret on the D string for our E chord. We're going to play that on the 6th beat of the bar and then land on our open D for our D chord. So we're playing that E root note to the D root note. Just the same as the chords are E minor and D minor. We're just playing the root note at the end of the bar leading to the first beat of the next bar. So our E minor into our D should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then when we finish with that bar of D, we're actually going to be repeating that pattern and going back to the G to start our progression again. So all we're going to do here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So just hitting that D open D string, that D root note again, on beat 6 once again to get back to the 3rd fret on the bottom E string for our first beat of that first bar of G yet again. So let's take a look at that from the beginning, slightly more seamlessly put together, but still keep it nice and slow. Let's start with our bar of G. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. We just repeat that progression exactly the same as we just played it there. Now, as I said, that is a little bit more advanced, so start really slow and make sure you're comfortable with where your accents are on beat 1 and beat 4 first. Once you feel like you can do that really succinctly and smoothly without making too many mistakes, then maybe try and add in that double bass pattern when you change from one chord to another chord. And finally, we could try and go for that whole pattern as I've just shown you by trying to create these little melodic steps up in our bass line between the chords. Now, as I said, there's very little deviation in the song. Most of the verses, chorus, the intro, outro are all using the same chord progression that we've already looked at. So let me just take you through a playthrough of the sections that are a little bit different. So we're going to go through a chorus, which is just that straightforward progression, into our bridge, and then into our final chorus where we have that slight deviation where we go to that C minor chord. So all of that put together, including our more bass-led strumming pattern, should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So lock the door and throw out the key. Can't fight this no more. It's just you and me, and there's nothing I can do. I'm stuck with you, stuck with you, stuck with you. So go ahead and drive me insane, baby, run your mouth. I still wouldn't change being stuck with you, stuck with you, stuck with you. I'm still stuck with you, stuck with you, stuck with you. And whoa, baby, come take all my time. Go on, make me lose my mind. lock the door and throw out the key. Can't fight this no more. It's just you and me, and there's nothing I can do. I'm still stuck with you, stuck with you, stuck with you. So go ahead and drive me insane, baby, run your mouth. I still wouldn't change all this loving you, hating you, wanting you. I'm still stuck with you, stuck with you, stuck with you. Thank you for watching. That's the end of this video. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like if you enjoyed it or found any of it useful. You might also like to check out some of these videos and let me know in the comments section below what you'd like to learn next. Until then, I'll see you there.